All right, let's see if we can figure this matchup out. Coach Ditka, your keys to the game.
This one could be a blowout. Depends on how the winds are blowing in Phoenix. That could affect the passing game. Can they get into a flow? And can Carson Palmer connect with Larry Gerald? They need to keep the Ravens D, though, on their heels with quick snap counts. Of course, things could go the Ravens' way, and they could squeak one out.
Yeah, we'll see if this all comes to pass or whether this is just a bunch of hot air.
Yeah, see what you did there.
Sausage and beer?
I know, the box score.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Power College for box score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles. They are the Danettes in Milford, Connecticut. There is a bit of a scandal brewing in Louisville. Rick Pitino is under fire on some activities that went on behind the scenes with his players and recruits. Paulie, would this be a much bigger story if it was a football program?
Depending, Coach. Depending, if it was some low-level program. But this is a story mostly because Rick Pitino is attached to it. It's salacious. It's got some unbelievable details. Someone actually wrote a book about this. And but if Pitino's name wasn't on it as the payoff of the story, good or bad, then it doesn't go anywhere.
McLovin, which scandal caught you more off guard, this Louisville problem or USC's issue with Steve Sarkisian and the alcohol?
No, the Louisville thing didn't catch me off guard at all. What do you expect to happen? There's a black market where they have to pay these players, are earning them all their money. This kind of stuff happens every day at every major college. The whole system is an absolute joke, so of course this happens. Sarkisian was a little out of nowhere. You don't expect a coach to jump out mid-season.
All right, well, Pat Forty's been covering this story, and he told Dan that Rick Pitino was caught off guard and that he doesn't have the grip on this program that people might think.
I was in his office yesterday, in fact. I was one of the couple of people that talked to him, and he's either really, really good at pretending he was blindsided, shocked, disgusted, appalled by all this, or he really was. I talked to him the day after. We wrote the first story, and I talked to him the next day, and, he was pretty blown away, I think, by what had come out. His reputation as a micromanager, I think, has become a little bit mythology in the last few years.
Okay.
He had started to lose, I think, a little bit of the hands-on day-to-day stuff as he got a little bit older, and so I think it's theoretically possible that some of this was going on without him knowing it.
You hear that kind of thing a lot with coaches where it's like, trust me, okay? A guy like him knows everything that's happening. And, well, yeah, maybe they really don't. I think it's totally possible that he had no idea this was going on. Either way, though, whether he did or didn't know, he's still in a whole world of trouble. Because either way you slice that, it doesn't look good for him. Either he did know, which is awful, and then he's really in trouble, or he didn't know, so now he kind of looks like a little clueless, like, oh, wow, I don't really know what's going on here, where I have, recruits coming in and there's prostitution and all this stuff going on in your dorm. Holy moly, man, that's not good.
Yeah, I always think about that. People, like Seton said, people think everyone knows what's going on under their watch at all times. The guys who work in the back room here could be running a casino at night for all I know and just cleaning it up the next morning. How would I ever know?
But trust me, okay? A guy like Dan Patrick, he knows everything that's going on.
Got his finger on the pulse.
Trust me. No, he doesn't. No clue.
Well, there's really only one way to get the scoop on what happens on these recruiting trips. You talk to a guy who was highly recruited out of high school, going into college, and Dan did just that with Maurice Jones-Drew. And MJD talked about the time that he went on the trip and how things got wacky and weird.
Me and my buddy, we went to SC, and they had us go to this Greek restaurant where they do like belly dancing and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, they started smashing plates everywhere, right? And so, me coming from where I came from and my buddy as well, we weren't used to smashing plates because, you do that, you're going to get a whooping. And so it was one of the first times I've ever got a chance to smash a plate, a pretty expensive plate. So it was pretty fun. That was probably the most exciting story I could tell you.
We've been led to believe through these shows and stories and movies and books that all this wild stuff's going on. It was, I don't know if it was refreshing. On one hand, it was refreshing to hear a nice, honest answer, assuming Mojo, doesn't have anything more exciting to share about the recruiting process than breaking plates or visits to the Cheesecake Factory. But on the other hand, I was kind of hoping there would be something juicy that he was going to be able to share with us, because we all have these visions. I know I do of there's women and polls and making it rain and all kinds of wild things that schools are trying to do, or teams, to get these players to come play for them. And Maurice Jones-Drew said, I can't relate to any of that. I can't watch Ballers. It's totally fiction to me. And all I know from is hanging out with my mom at Cheesecake Factory and breaking plates. Not too excited.
Well, Fritzy, I know that you had probably a pretty sedate recruiting trip over to NYU, but what would be your ideal recruiting trip?
Definitely the exact opposite of what I experienced taking the train from Brooklyn to Manhattan, and my dorm being my bedroom growing up with Heather Locklear and Heather Thomas posters on the wall. It would involve, I guess it would involve women and all the things we mentioned, polls and making it rain and hot tubs and the little mini hot
Did
dogs.
those posters stay up until you moved to LA?
They were up for a long time, not till I moved to LA, but they were up through high school and part of college.
Did you live at home after college?
I graduated in 91, and then I moved. Just for a few months, because I graduated in May of '91, and I moved the following January, I guess. No, actually, no. It was a few years later. So I was living at home for a couple of years after.
So it wasn't months?
Not months. It was. I graduated college, and then there was an opportunity about a year later to move to LA. So there was about a 10-month to a year period.
The posters still up?
Posters. They're not still up anymore.
No, but like when you were living there.
When you were after college?
Late 20s.
Absolutely. And I do remember one of the girls that I brought home on the rare occasion where that happened, where they, I don't know if they particularly appreciated that. Not that they were in competition with a Heather Locklear poster, but I thought they probably thought it was kind of odd that, you're a sophomore, junior in college, you're bringing a girl back to your apartment where you grew up, and there's Tonka trucks and, Stratomatic baseball and Heather Thomas.
Dude, that's like so many red flags right there.
Did you ever have a girl over twice to your apartment?
I was wondering about that. That never really happened, and I just kind of thought we just didn't hit it off, and it just wasn't the right one. I didn't think it was, the various toys and jigsaw puzzles and posters of women on the wall. But now that I look back at it,
Craig Morton posters.
Yeah, it was just probably kind of weird.
Picture of Heather Locklear and your Tonka trucks.
Yeah, that's
in the same room.
I probably should have put away some of the
probably
like I had like a Happy Days board game.
Like at this point, you're not sure.
No.
But probably.
But maybe I thought that maybe would ease their mind. I was like, is he gonna get like freaky with me? He's like, no, we have Connect 4 here and Parcheesi.
Maybe shows you like kids.
Even scarier, actually.
You think so? Like we could play Monopoly.
It's actually even more concerning.
I didn't want them to think that they were gonna get.
You would have been better having axes on your wall.
No, I was like, we could play Stay Alive and one of these, one of these Hasbro.
Yeah, literally playing Staying Alive.
That they thought of their play.
Run for your life.
Parker Brothers games, and then wherever it leads after that. After we look at the Heather Thomas poster and play, do jigsaw puzzles and do coloring books.
Yeah, it's Mousetrap. No, it's Girlfriend Trap. Fritzy, if you could hang one poster in your room right now, what would it be?
Ooh, my favorite. I don't know. It would either be between the Farrah Fawcett famous poster. I know we should be looking at more current times, but there was something about. I remember going to Spencer Gifts at a place called Kings Plaza in Brooklyn. They had all these posters up, and the Heather Thomas poster. She's in a pink bikini and she's coming out of a jacuzzi. It was right over the wall in my bedroom.
Do you still have it?
I don't still have it, unfortunately, but all that's left is now pieces of tape that won't come off the wallpaper.
Would you like me to obtain one for you?
I do really like that one. I think that was a classic one of back in the, was it BJ and the Bear? It was one of those things. But she's posing in this pink bikini coming out of a jacuzzi, and Heather Thomas. That was her and Heather Locklear. Good times. Great times. All right, coming up, we will bid a proper farewell to Paulie's Cubs. All right. All right, if you're going to hang a poster, why not do it inside of the cab of your Ram 1500 Eco Diesel? Put Heather up in there, but not in the windows. I mean, you got to see out. Let's be safe here. Towing boats, hauling trailers, climbing hills, you can do it all. Get more facts at ramtrucks.com. Guts, glory, Ram.
We are back here in the box score. Guys, morale seems to be down in Chicago's with the Cubs down 3-0 to the Mets in the NLCS. Now, Paulie, you compared this team's run to that of the 04 Red Sox when they came back and defeated the Yankees. Now, would you rather have the Cubs swept, or would you rather have them force a Game 7 just to lose in a walk-off home run?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a tough question. I'd, of course, rather than put up a fight and make it close, but the pain, like, this is not a big deal. If they lose tonight, it's actually not a historically painful moment because they've gotten swept, I think, in the last 2 playoffs that they entered in that you barely remember because it was over fast. Now, hopes were high. My hopes were not that high for this Cub team. Even a week ago, I did not think they were making the World Series. And so I'm not going to be that torn up about this one. They're not that close. Now, if they get to a Game 7 of the NLCS, that would be a heartbreaker.
All right. Well, Fritzy, you may be a little bit heartbroken. Your Astros are out of it, but so are the Cubs. They might be out of it. Who are you rooting for in all this? The Mets or the Royals?
I would be pulling for the Mets. Just growing up in Brooklyn, I was a Met fan as a little kid, and I remember Helmet Day and Bat Day or Batting Glove Day. And I used to, love Seaver and Matlack and Kuzmin back in the early days when I was really little.
You had all your cards lined up when the girls came over at age 23.
With them over, we would play with the cards, and I'd show them my collection of Topps trading cards and everything. And she'd say, "Is this how the relationship's going to go?" And I didn't pick up on.
You'd offer a dessert and a helmet.
I would. The little helmet, soft serve ice cream cone. But she'd say, "How old are you? 11 or you're 19? Aren't you in my economics class?" And then, how'd you become 7 years old? But yeah, I got to pull for the Mets because just being a New Yorker.
Yeah, my mom has Sunny D for us. Seton, which fan base is suffering more, the Cubs or the Detroit Lions?
Oh, come on. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
It's got to be the Cubs, right? I mean, I would say Detroit as a city as a whole has certainly hit its rough times. But yeah, I mean, the Cubs, it's not even close. I think Cubs fans have to be careful here, though, that they want this to end so bad, because then once it's over, okay, you guys win a World Series, you're no longer these lovable losers. You're just another team. You're just another team that's like, okay, now you're just like everybody else, and there's absolutely nothing special about you. It's something that you want to hold on to. I think a lot of Red Sox fans would agree with that.
I understand what Seton's saying, but that's like when they say, when you win the lottery, be careful because it's going to change you. There's a lot of baggage that goes with it. You know what? Bring it on. You know what? If you want to give me $100 million and the problems that go with it, I'll test it out.
Except that $100 million is going to actually change your life. Tomorrow, if the Cubs won the World Series, okay, and it's all over, your life is exactly the same. You're just like everybody else now, though. There's nothing remarkable about you whatsoever. Your life is exactly the same, except like, hey, look, we won that one time too.
Yeah.
That's it.
Time to go work. Put the hairnet on and the name badge on. McLovin, Daniel Murphy's been blowing up in these playoffs in the postseason. Has there been a NFL equivalent where a regular guy just absolutely blew up in the playoffs?
Yes, there has been.
Can you recall who this?
Anyone help me out here with an assist? Let's see. Who has done it? Your team has done the Super Bowl every year. Give me somebody.
Steve Sewell had a couple of good years.
Oh, who's that guy on the Tommy Smith?
Timmy Smith, the running back. There's this running back on the Redskins a bunch of years ago. Going into the game, I had never heard his name.
He went off against.
He was a backup running back. I don't think he's filling in for Riggins. He's filling in for I can't remember the running back. I think he ran for 206 yards for the Redskins.
Yeah, especially in the second quarter.
And was out of the league like a year and a half later, won Super Bowl MVP, and if he walked in here right now, I wouldn't know who he is.
History is a tough subject. All right, stick around. We are going back in time. Now that we are going back to the future. Welcome back to the box score. Today is a day that is celebrated by millions of fans all over the world. It is Back to the Future Day, October 1st, 2015. It was this day where Marty went back to the future and actually found out that his mom would have slept with him. That's an actual fact. Hi, Calvin. But they made this wacky prediction that the Cubs were going to win the World Series. Fritzy, would you have bought into all this hype if it was about the Astros?
Probably. I like to hang on those kind of things. I'm superstitious. I believe in different numerological type things, and I always like to look for that kind of stuff. So I would definitely be all in, whether it's some prediction or something with numbers. I'm big with that. I like to try to find some kind of connection where something makes sense or can explain some type of event that would normally be unpredictable.
All right, Seton, I want to ask you to explain what a gigawatt is, but what would you rather have from the movie? A hoverboard or a flying car?
Flying car, no question.
Yeah.
Not even close. I don't want a hoverboard. I like skateboards. But a car that could fly somewhere? Hell yeah.
And a DeLorean. No snow tires needed. All right. Well, there's no better way to celebrate Back to the Future Day than with a quiz about this day in future. Oh, all right. Oh, I love that hat. All right, it is row versus row.
We don't need rows.
Yeah. What is it? It's our kids. Okay. It's row versus row. Let's go back in time.
Hey, Brock, real quick.
Yes.
Real quick. Can I jump in real quick? Who the hell are you imitating?
This is Marty McFly. Doc, on the night you go back. Yeah, that's Marty McFly. Or maybe it's Biff. Why don't you make like a tree and leave? Okay. Let's get to the quiz, shall we?
You scream, Biff.
Yeah.
All right, front row. On this day in 1990, the Philadelphia Phillies won their first World Series ever, defeating the Kansas City Royals. Which player took home the MVP award in that series?
Phillies won their first World Series? I thought the Phillies won the World Series in '84 with Tug McGraw.
That was. Wait, did he say 80? It's 1980 they beat the Royals.
What? Well, he said 1990.
Yeah, it's 1980 they beat the Royals.
1980. So
and who won the MVP? I know the answer, of course.
Well, I'm going to say, since McLevin said of course, I'm going to say Michael Jack Schmidt.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Schmidt hit 381 that year with 2 homers and 7 RBIs in that series.
I thought it was Bake McBride.
You would have gone Schmidt anyway. Right?
I would have gone Schmidt by default. I only know probably 3 players on that team.
Yeah.
All right, to the back row. On this day in the year 2000, the Yankees won the longest World Series game in history. Which team did they beat?
Okay.
2000?
Yeah. Is that the Mets?
In the World Series? Is it the World Series?
Angels, I think.
Yeah. Wait, is it a World Series?
Was it a World Series game?
Rangers.
Let's say it was, because I don't remember who they beat up there. So they beat the Padres?
Yeah.
Cubs?
In 2000, it was Yankees Mets in 2000.
Yeah.
If it's specifically World Series.
Or was that 2001? No, that was 2000. Okay.
If it's the World Series.
We're going to say New York Mets.
Yeah, let's go meet the Mets. Absolutely. They beat the Mets in 12 innings, 4-3. One more for the front row. On this day in 1973, this NFL player became the first to record 2 safeties in a game. Who is he?
Is he 73?
Oh, man. I'm going to go...
I like to dismiss things where I'm like, I wasn't even born yet. How would I know that? Like, I would know if it was 1993. I would still have no clue.
I'm going to go Alan Page, defensive tackle of the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, snap.
Oh, incorrect, sir. We were looking for Fred Dreyer. Fred Dreyer later would star in Hunter.
Hunter!
Yeah.
By the way, I'll bet the next question is Fridge Perry.
Yeah, for a bonus point, Fritzy, who was the hot chick in Hunter?
Oh.
Heather,
Do you want to lay down and think about it?
Yeah, I need to get into position.
Was she really that
She had
hot,
like
though?
dark curly hair.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I get her initials?
No, I have no idea. All right, last one is for the back row.
I totally
On
know who
this
that is.
day in 2010, Dan Patrick did something in the man cave that he'd never done before.
what is work? What?
By the way, this day in 1985, William Fridge Perry ran in his first touchdown, but I guess the lazy producers couldn't come up with that.
Shots
So
fired.
let's go with what did Dan do in 2010?
I'm still thinking of the Hunter girl.
It happened in the
Stephanie
simulator.
something? Stephanie Kramer.
Stephanie Kramer.
Stephanie Kramer.
Stephanie Kramer.
Right.
Hole in one.
Yeah, Stephanie Kramer.
Yes, he hit a hole in one.
Not to be confused with Stephanie Powers from Heart to Heart.
And it was murder.
Stephanie Powers, Heart to Heart, Stephanie Kramer.
Yeah.
Does this Dan get on all fours? Bjorn
All
Borg style
right.
here? Yes.
With that,
Great.
the back row is our winner. Congratulations. All right, don't go away. Dan's hungry for another hole in one. How hungry? Maybe too damn hungry. Really damn hungry. All right, but first, this is the box score, and we're taking a break to remind you that the Ram Heavy Duty, with its best-in-class towing torque and horsepower, actually runs on a flux capacitor. That's true. Oh, and maybe a Hemi. Maybe. Get more facts at ramtrucks.com. Guts, glory, Ram. We are closing up shop here on the box score. We mentioned that DP was all fired up on the simulator and launched a personal attack. 2 guns a-blazing and dropping bombs.
This is ball cam, guys. In case you care, this is going right at the pin.
Whoa, buddy.
What are you doing?
Hello.
What are you doing?
Frickin' pin?
Hey, you want to do an awkward layup right now?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to get you out of this is an awkward layup.
Awkward layup.
So,
man.
change the
Can
topic.
we say the intern had his mic?
What happened there?
We get a cue from our cameraman when we're about 10 seconds away from being on camera, so things like this don't happen. Now, our camera was on the other side of the room, but I clearly heard him say 10. That being said, I wasn't focused on the golf shot.
Right.
And so when Dan said it, I knew we were on the cusp of being live, and you hear me go, whoa, whoa, and then everyone goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. But you know what? The thing is, we're all big people here. I think we've all heard the F word before, so I don't think we're going to get a lot of calls to the FCC.
All right, well, we're all adults here, but that F-bomb preluded the infamous debate, is a hot dog a sandwich? Seton, have we reached any closure on this issue?
No, we're waiting for a few officials to weigh in on this. So until we get official word from them back, as of right now, it's still pretty much a toss-up. I'm firmly in the not a sandwich category because it's a hot dog. It's not a hot dog sandwich.
When you're producing a show, sometimes you'll send people notes and ask them questions. You can't believe you're doing it. I texted Andrew Richmond, the food TV host, and asked him his opinion on this. And he said, let me think about it. And he actually had to think about it for a second, so he didn't get back to me before the show was over. But even as I'm typing it, I'm like, do you think this guy's going to believe we're actually asking this a question?
I think that this is the kind of thing they actually do spend time
right.
on. I mean, this is something
they probably appreciate it. I tried to reach out to Giada and Emerald and Bobby Flay, which I didn't hear back.
In that order.
Definitely in that order, in that short period of time, which would have been really funny. One of them could have told us or popped on for a second and weighed in, but I can't possibly see how a hot dog would be a sandwich.
Yeah, no, when you go hot dog and bratwurst, the meat defines the meal. It's not the other way around. You don't go down there and say, sandwich, peanuts, sandwich, peanuts. It's all screwed up. But I'm glad
well, Brock, let me ask you then.
Yeah.
You're a guy who likes a nice gyro, however you want to pronounce it. Is a gyro sandwich a sandwich? It's in a pita, so it's in a pocket folded type situation,
right,
a cocoon of goodness.
No way.
Very similar to a hot dog.
Sandwich.
But would you call it a sandwich? Like I'm gonna go get a gyro sandwich.
No, that's just too much. That's too much explanation for what is just called a gyro. You call it a gyro. You don't go gyro sandwich or gyro meal or gyro combination. Yeah, let's get these things straight, and we'll straighten them out tomorrow. I'm sure after the Dan Patrick Show. Who's on tomorrow?
Keith Hernandez will stop by the Man Cave in New York City, as will
mustache.
David Deal and Peter King. And we'll also catch up with Michael Wilbon and see if his Cubs could avoid getting swept or did they make it 3-1.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We are back tomorrow right here on Audience Channel 239, and a special birthday hello to our fearless producer, DJ.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the box score. Holy cow!